So I guess I'll start by just giving you guys a little bit of background about myself. I first got into entrepreneurship when I was 10 years old, and I read two books, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and also Richard Branson's autobiography. And this inspired me to do things like sell Pokemon cards to people at primary school, and also sell like these chocolates for school sponsorship at $5 instead of $2 and pocket the difference. So I came from like a very conservative, Chinese family, and my father wasn't very impressed with all this. My father, he wanted me to go to law school. And he would say things like, "Son, you go to law school. At the law school, you study hard, and then you be like John Howard." So no matter like how much I tell my dad, okay, Dad, I don't want to be like John Howard. I had to go to law school, and I got bored within the first year. So I started organizing university parties, which brings me to the first growth hacking story that I want to share. So we got about 1,000 people per event. We charged $15 to $20, and we made about $15,000 to $20,000 per event that we did. So how did I do this? Well, firstly, I noticed that the club promoters during the day, well, what they would do is they would just create an event on Facebook and invite all their Facebook friends to this event. That's like, an event night at a club. So I was thinking, well, how do I take this method and scale it? And what I came up with was I just hung out at university and I told people about my university end of semester party. And I told them, okay, if you just hop onto my laptop right now and invite all your friends on Facebook to this event, I will give you free entry and I'll also give you a free drink. So it's a pretty easy sell, right? For like somebody at university, some student, they're like, free drink, yeah. So in about 2 weeks, I managed to get 300 people to invite all their friends to this Facebook event. And we had 120,000 people invited to this event. So we did the uni party. It was good. We had a blast. But then what was really cool was you can't do this anymore. But previously on Facebook, you could actually renew this event. So you can set an expired event to a future date, and then you can change the name. So then I just set it to my next event. So I was like, oh, in like another 2 months' time, we're gonna have like another uni party. And Facebook would actually let you message these 120,000 people in one go. So you could just click message attendees, and I had like this spam database of 120,000 people that I was just messaging like continuously and just making money off this during university, which is really cool. But those days ended when Facebook banned all my accounts and deleted all my events. So it was good whilst it lasted, but so in my last year of university, I ended up working or interning at Macquarie Bank and also at Groupon. I got fired from both jobs within the first 3 months, so that didn't go out too well. But what was interesting was my boss at Groupon actually decided to invest in my new business, which is Deals Extra. So Deals Extra is a daily deals aggregator. So it's basically a directory of discounts on restaurants, travel experiences. Sorry. And so currently it has 230,000 unique visits per month, 400,000 email subscribers, and it does about 4 million in voucher sales every year. So if we take a look at my Google Analytics, you'll see that 69% of the traffic for Deals Extra is organic traffic. So it's been driven to my site via Google. Sorry, I just get a... Yep, so it's been driven to my site via Google, and as you can see, I'm getting traffic from 37,000 different keywords, and this traffic is being captured by 50,000 different landing pages. You can see like just on the bottom there. So each landing page or keyword gives me only a very small amount of traffic and accounts for like 0.1% or less of total traffic. So the idea is you want to target a lot of low competition keywords, keywords that are easy to rank for but don't have much traffic in Google. But since we're targeting a lot of them, we're able to get a lot of traffic in aggregate. And we target these keywords by building a lot of landing pages, one landing page for every keyword. And the second component of this is building a lot of high quality links, which I would get onto. So this is one of my landing pages. As you can see, it's pretty simple. This is all generated automatically from scraped content. So basically, I took every deal that Kobe Jones restaurant has run in the past, and I put it onto a landing page. I made a page like this for every business that has ever had a promotion or a discount, creating 50,000 landing pages that are targeting the keyword business name plus deals. So, Kobe Jones deals or Sydney Aquarium deals. And there's a pop-up on this page to capture emails when users hit the page. So the second part of getting traffic with SEO is building quality links. And how we do this is we steal our competitors' backlinks. So there's this tool called majestic.com, or you can also use Moz, and it will let you see your competitors' backlinks. It will let you see what sites are linking to your competitors, and you can get a lot of insight into what the SEO or link building strategy is through this, and you can acquire the same links. It's also good to look at sites that are ranking in very competitive industries, such as loans or SEO itself as a keyword. So if we take a look at my backlinks, I want to go into two types of links that still work quite well. The first is charity and sponsorship links. So this is an example. This is Creative Commons, where you'll see on their sponsorship page, if we pay them $3,000, if we donate $3,000, they will mention our website as one of their sponsors. Now, this may seem very expensive, and it is, but you'll notice that Creative Commons has a domain authority of 100. According to Moz. So authority score is a score used by Moz, and it's basically to measure how well a website will rank in Google. And it's a logarithmic scale. So a score of 100 basically means that this website is one of the top 100 most authoritative websites on the internet. So pretty much if you got one link from this website, your domain would have more authority than the homepage of Channel 10. And that will be reflected in the amount of traffic that you get. So how do we actually find pages like this, like sponsorship pages? Well, I've listed a couple down there, so Project Counter, ICDRI, but what you do is you go to one of these pages and you look at, okay, well, who else has bought a link here? And you'll see, okay, accident attorneys. And then you'll put that website into Majestic to see what other backlinks they have. And most likely, if a company has sponsored one charity, they probably have sponsored multiple charities. So you can find more sponsorship sites that way. The second type of link that I think still works is commenting on articles, news articles that are related to your business's industry on some of these more authoritative news sites. So this is really easy. You just tell a freelancer to go do a Google News search for articles in your industry and just comment on those articles, provide some thoughtful feedback and link back to your website. So after Deals Extra, I traveled a bit, which was cool. So I went to all these places. And then after that, I came back and I started ContactOut about a year ago. So ContactOut is a Chrome extension, and it lets you find people's email addresses and phone numbers. We have a database of 600 million email addresses. And what that means is we have contact data for about 65% of everybody in the Western world who is online. And we sell this data to recruiters. predominantly, who pay quite a lot of money because they make between $15,000 to $30,000 per hire. So we sell it for $4,000 per year. And we have about 30% of the Fortune 500 using our tool, and we've had like a lot of good feedback from people at Apple or Cisco. So how I built ContactOut was primarily just by copying what has already been done. So last year, I applied for this startup accelerator called StartMate. And I kind of wormed my way in without a real business. I was just like, yeah, I'll join, I know what I'm doing. But I got in, and then I'm like, oh, well, crap, now I have to figure out what I'm actually going to do for a business, for this startup accelerator. So I just decided to copy. Like, I hopped on AngelList and Crunchbase and VentureBeat, and I looked at companies that recently got funded or were recently acquired. And I came across this company, Connectifier, which sold for $100 million to LinkedIn. And I basically copied exactly what Connectifier did. They were an email finding tool for recruiters, but they were focused on tech talent in the United States, whereas I was like, okay, I can replicate their technology and I can take this globally. So that's what I did. The first thing I did was I reached out via email to every ex-employee at Connectifier. I requested their mentorship and I offered them $500 for their time, but everybody who actually wanted my $500, I didn't talk to them. Because the trick here is to offer $500 to legitimize yourself and to get a good response rate to that email. But people who are successful, they're already rich. They don't care about your $500. They'll just give you advice for free. And the people who will take your money, you don't actually want to talk to them because they're probably not very successful, nor are they going to give you good advice. Anyway, so I managed to get the vice president, the ex-vice president of Connectifier. He was the head of marketing and sales. His name is John Girard. I got him on the phone and he gave me some excellent advice over about an hour's time. And I ended up giving him 0.5% in equity to come on board as a full-time advisor. And John pretty much told me exactly what Connectifier did to scale from 0 to a $100 million business. So this is the most important thing I did that led to ContactOut's success. I mean, forget about like growth hacking experiments and, oh, I'm gonna like test this funnel and work things out. No, just ask somebody who's already done it before and then just copy what they did. So whatever business you're doing, there is bound to be someone who has done what you've done, what you're trying to do now before, and they're not in direct competition with you. So all you gotta do is you find them on LinkedIn, use my tool, or just send them an email, and ask them for their mentorship and bribe them, like offer them money, but don't actually give them money. So this is the email that I sent to John at Connectifier. Just seeking your mentorship regarding Connectifier. Hey, I'm a tech entrepreneur. I want to do something similar to Connectifier. I'd really appreciate your mentorship. Can I give you $500 for half an hour of your time? And yeah, you'll find that you'll get about a 50% response rate because people want to help you. Like other successful entrepreneurs want to help the next generation. They realize it's hard and they realize how much help they got. So just ask for help. People would be responsive. So the next thing I wanted to touch upon was, so 70% of ContactOut's user acquisition right now is from word of mouth. And this isn't like some tactic or trick that we did. It's simply because we have the best email data on the market. Like we provide 3 times more emails than any other tool. And then, that's why there's all these recruiters that are like talking about us, writing blog posts, telling their friends about us. And, I used to be of the mindset that I'm like, I can, engineer word of mouth. I can like create this viral loop and incentivize people to tell their friends about my shitty product. Whereas in truth, like that doesn't actually work. You can't like engineer a viral loop from incentives. Like I think the best way to drive word of mouth is to just build a great product. But then that's kind of cliched, you know, you all heard that before. Like, how do we actually build a great product? I think a great framework for how do we achieve product market fit is Running Lean by Ash Maurya. So Running Lean is pretty much like a practical version of the Lean Startup, which I'm sure you guys are all aware of, is the book by Eric Ries. So the Lean Startup is kind of nice to know in theory, but you're not sure how exactly this directly helps you. Whereas Running Lean provides extremely practical, step-by-step guidance on how you should go about validating your product, how you should go about achieving product market fit in the most efficient way. And it really emphasizes, you know, how do you get the most learning and reduce risk the most while spending the minimal amount of resources. So I'm not exaggerating when I say that reading this book has saved me at least $500,000 and at least 2 years of my time. I think it's the best business book out there that I've read on startups, so definitely read it if you haven't. So just in summary of the growth hacks that I've shared so far, so exploit social media sites when they're new. Unfortunately, Facebook isn't anymore. SEO means targeting a lot of keywords with a lot of landing pages, so low competition keywords, and building a lot of quality backlinks, which you can steal from your competitors by using majestic.com. You want to copy as much as you can. You want to copy business ideas, and you want to reach out to ex-employees of your competitors that have done it before and bribe them with $500. The biggest driver of the biggest growth hack is to just get product market fit. Like, actually get a product that is 10 times better than what's out there, and people will just use your product. But this is really hard. So, read Running Lean, and that will give you a framework of how to do that. So we're hiring a growth hacker. So if you're interested, I didn't put my email up there, but it's rob@contactout.com, really simple. I think what excites me about doing ContactOut is, I've always been a growth hacker. I've always been really interested in growth. And I think ContactOut to me is the ultimate growth hack. I'm like, well, I have this opportunity to create an email database of everybody in the world. I think I'll do that. So I kind of made it for my own amusement, partly. And then, so just in the second half of this talk, I kind of wanted to go high level. So, it's going to get a little bit woo-woo here. And I want to talk about mindset, because I think it's just as important as tactics. So take what you will from this. The first mindset that I want to talk about is reading a shit ton of books. Reading has helped me a lot in trying to figure out what to do in both my business life and my personal life. I read voraciously. I read maybe 100 or so books last year. And a way that you can hack this is listen to audiobooks. Because you can listen to audiobooks whilst you're driving, whilst you're at the gym, if you're cooking. You can multitask, so you can find at least 2 to 3 hours a day to listen to audiobooks. And then if you play them at 2 times or 3 times speed, which will take a while to get used to, then you can finish a book every 2 days. I don't understand why people don't read. I mean, some of the most successful people in the world, we're talking billionaires, leaders of nations, they've sat down for a year or two and distilled the best of their wisdom, the principles of their success into a book, and it's available for $10 instantly from a device in your pocket, and yet most people don't read. And I think it's tragic almost, and I think it's because thinking is hard. Like, you don't want to think. Most people don't want to think about, okay, what do I want to achieve in my life or what my purpose is? People just go through life half asleep, doing things because their parents told them to do so, or working jobs they hate because society thinks that it's prestigious to be a lawyer. I'm talking about myself, by the way. and never really knowing what you want to achieve in life. And this is tragic because it's really important to know what you want to achieve in life because life is short and one day you're going to be dead. So, I guess my point is reading books has really helped me gain clarity into, figuring out what my purpose is and what I want to do. And that's really, really helped. So here is a list of my favorite books. So feel free to take a photo if you want. Quite a lot of them there, so I'm not going to go through them. Or I'll send you this slide deck afterwards. Let me know when you guys are done. Yep, good. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is setting big goals and having this mindset that you can that you can achieve anything that you set your mind to. And this is really cliched, this, everybody says this. But it's also a self-fulfilling statement in the sense that if we don't believe that we can do something, then we don't even try. And if you don't try, you fail by default. So it's useful to believe that you can do anything and just go out there and try. There's this book called Talent is Overrated. And it describes the story of this psychologist who was trying to prove that any world-class skill, any world-class talent can be acquired through training, that it's not, in your genetics. So he chose chess as a skill because he thought that chess was a good metaphor for, for intellectual capacity in humans. And he had 3 daughters, 3 poor daughters who he decided he's going to train to be, world-class chess champions. And they did. They went on to become the top 3 female chess players in the world and some of the first female grandmasters in chess. So it may not be accurate or true, but it's definitely a useful belief to have that, nobody is cut from a different cloth from you. If you see somebody else doing something, then you could do it as well. You just got to put in the training and the discipline. Because, when you have this belief, you're empowered to go out there and to try and to do it. So something I learned last year was it's actually easier to achieve big goals than small ones. So what the mentors at StartMate told me was creating a big company is easier than creating a small company. Because when you're trying to solve a big problem, a problem that is meaningful and could change people's lives, this inspires people. This makes people want to invest in your company. This makes, convincing others to join your team a lot easier. Whereas if you're just trying to build a small business, you're just trying to make some money to be wealthy yourself or meet your own needs. It's a smaller task, but less people are willing to help you, and it's actually harder because you got to go at it alone. So just do the big business because it's not actually harder. So all this talk about goals, but if you don't have the discipline to put in the hours to actually achieve them, then you're just daydreaming. This is all useless. A mentor of mine once said to me that success is not when you achieve your goal. It's not when you're on stage, achieving your medal or trophy. It's like the process of going to the gym every night and just hitting punching bags and lifting weights again and again and just punching through the pain with discipline. And something I've really struggled with as an entrepreneur when I went out on my own was finding the discipline to put in consistent hours into my work because I don't have a boss, I don't have deadlines. There's no external pressure. I don't need to work. I could be diving in Thailand. So, I really had to find this self-discipline of, putting in the hours. And what I found was really helpful was this tool called Time Doctor. So Time Doctor is really simple. It's a stopwatch on your computer. You press start when you're working. You press stop when you press stop when you're not working. And And it'll give you reports of how many hours you worked this week, on what tasks and what applications you used, as well as the websites that you spent your time on. So, you know when people say that if you don't measure it, you can't improve it. So by measuring exactly what you're spending your time on, you can optimize. You can kind of like growth hack the process of growth hacking, or you growth hack your own productivity. So like, oh, I spent 5 hours on Facebook last week when I thought I was working, like maybe I should stop. When I first started using Time Doctor, I realized that half the time I spent on my computer was not productive time. I thought I was working, but I was reading blogs, like emailing on Facebook. And it's really important that you actually measure your productive hours, because if you don't, you'll feel like you were really productive last week, but you actually weren't. You don't know how productive you are. So I aim to log 30 productive hours a week, and that's excluding meetings, excluding email, excluding reading industry news, just purely like when I'm executing and doing stuff that is directly going to grow the company. And that's been really, really helpful in keeping me focused. So as we're putting in the hours and working, we need to make sure that we're working on tasks that have the biggest impact. And a really good question to ask is, what is the one most important thing that I could be working on right now that would have the biggest impact? So it's not even, like you guys have heard about the 80-20 principle, where it's like, what are the 20% of tasks that will get me 80% of the outcome? No, it's like, what is the single most important task that you could be doing right now that would have the highest impact? Humans really suck at multitasking, so just pick one thing. And so the way I do this is I continually ask myself throughout the day, what's the most important thing right now? Okay, I'm gonna do that. All right, now what is the next most important thing that I gotta do? And then I'll do that, and I'll just keep working through that process. So there's a book on this. It's called The One Thing. It's great. You guys should check it out. And I just want to touch on meditation. So now it's going to get really woo-woo. So I meditate for 12 minutes a day. Nothing complicated. I sit and I stare at a wall for 12 minutes. And I try to clear my thoughts and focus on the present moment. I just focus on, noticing my breathing, what I'm feeling in my body at this current point in time. And meditation really helps me shut off my mind, because I find that at times I get into these thought loops where I can't stop thinking, I can't stop worrying. I might be anxious about some situation in my business or in my personal life, and then I'll start getting anxious about the fact that I'm anxious. Like, oh, why am I feeling anxious? Like, I shouldn't be anxious. I need to be confident. Like, what would people think of me if I act anxious? And then I'll just get into this very unhealthy negative thought spiral. So I'm sure you guys can relate to that in some way. But where meditation has really helped me is being able to shut off my thoughts and, and just stop. Just stop thinking and, just to appreciate this present moment and appreciate that by some crazy miracle of nature, I'm alive and conscious right now. And just to appreciate being conscious and, just to appreciate that you're connected to this universe, to life, and every other person in this universe who's also conscious. And just to realize that, at the end of the day, that I'm just like a monkey flying around on a space rock, and like none of my problems, personal or business, means nothing in the grand scheme of things. And you're kind of part of something that's bigger than just you. So a great book on this, one of my favorite books, is called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. And he really explains this well of how to meditate and what meaning kind of and benefits that meditation can give to your life. So I think for me, it's helped me kind of distance myself and not take my troubles so seriously, and just have this sense of peace and groundedness as I go through doing my business and as I go through my life, which I think is very important if you want consistency in anything that you're going to do. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was fear of failure. So a lot of people, they don't start businesses or they don't chase their goals because they fear failure. It's another cliche that people say 9 out of 10 businesses fail. And what this means is you just have to try more than 10 times to succeed. So I kind of said to myself when I got into business that I'm going to keep trying until the end of my days. And at the end of my days, if I didn't succeed, I would be happy knowing that at least I tried and I gave it my best shot. I try to focus on getting joy from the process of doing business and not from having to succeed. So the process of being able to create a company and call it your own, it's kind of like the feeling that you get when you're a kid and you bought a Lego set and you built a spaceship and you're like, wow, I created something with my own hands. I love the process of being able to create something that has the potential to impact the world, to change things, to influence people's lives. And I love the process of being able to think for myself and make my own decisions and have my results in my life be determined by the quality of the decisions I make, instead of, working at a corporation where you're being a yes man and you're taking instructions from your higher ups and you're mostly executing. You're not thinking about, what should I be doing? You're doing, and somebody else is telling you what you should be doing. So I just wanted to leave you with a quote from Theodore Roosevelt. It's called "The Man in the Arena." So, it is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at worst, if he fails, at least fails whilst daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat. Thank you.
All right, cool guys. Let's do question time. 5 to 6 questions, and then we'll have a 5 to 10 minute toilet break.
And can I also ask that we use this catch box just for the benefit of anyone who gets to watch it later?
Hi, my name is Olga. Thank you for the presentation. I think you came up with some very creative ways to achieve what you want. I was wondering if you ever had ethical dilemmas in building your business?
Yes.
I try not to harm people. But I think, the things I've done are probably, quite spammy. But yeah, I do try not to harm people, so.
Another question, guys?
Oh, yep.
So you love to read, but if we're sending you to a desert island with only one of your books, which one are you taking with you to read again and again?
I think that's really hard to say. Like, I could give you like top 3, maybe top 4, which would be The Fountainhead, The Power of Now, The Singularity is Near, and Running Lean. The Fountainhead.
Cool. Rob, over here. Interesting talk. Suddenly went from growth hacking to some sort of Tony Robbins inspirational talk. But no, it was really good. No, thank you. Actually energized me a lot, so thank you. But I guess going back to your growth hacking, or even relating to your books as well, potentially. So look, there's a lot of information around growth hacking on the internet. We share articles all the time in the Facebook group, or even just exploring, right? It's kind of taking your books, right? You don't read books for the sake, or listening to books for the sake of listening books. Like, how do you take the lessons that you have and apply it? I don't mean to entrepreneurial life, but how do you apply it to kind of your decision making around your growth hacking tactics, or do you at all?
Sorry, I don't quite understand because
So when you listen to somebody and you hear different lessons and stuff like that, how do you feel? What's your process in terms of applying that stuff to your business life, and then even like growth hacking related, right? Growing your business.
I'm not really sure because for me it comes quite organically. Like I'll read some books in the area that I'm trying to learn more about. So recently that would have been sales. And so I read like Challenger Sale, I read like Sales Hacker, Predictable Revenues, and those concepts kind of just sunk in. And I guess if you're just researching and reading in the right area, then those concepts would just sink in. So I'm not quite sure what you mean by like how do they apply it. I think for me it's just like pretty organic if I'm reading the right content.
Right. Okay. Cool. Nice one. Yeah. There you go, mate.
Just out of interest, if you will answer it, why'd you get fired from your jobs?
Why did I get fired from my jobs? So at Macquarie, I think I was just a crap analyst. Like I didn't have good attention to detail. I asked too many questions. But when I got fired was because I posted on Facebook. I was like, oh, I'm really excited to be meeting people from McKinsey next week. I'm going to go backdoor my way into McKinsey. And I don't have anybody in my team on my Facebook besides the other intern who thought it would be a great idea to show my director what I posted. And then my director was like, oh, you divulge confidential information. I'm like, how did I do that? Like I said something about we're meeting McKinsey. And it's like, oh, you can't like say that because it's a deal. I'm like, I could be meeting my friend from McKinsey outside of that. And that didn't fly. So I got fired because of that. And at Groupon, I got fired because I started Deals Extra in the background. And they actually gave me an affiliate deal. So I was like working in marketing for them and I wanted to try a lot of spammy, ethically questionable things, which they weren't very happy with. So I was just like, pay me 10% and I'll just like start this other site and I'll like drive traffic to you. And that's what ended up happening.
If you were to start again, what sort of skills would you look to invest in? Or I don't know if you'd study anything like besides the books that you'd read.
Start again doing what I'm doing now, or start again doing what?
Just like if you were to go along the journey, you say you hadn't had any experience, like what would you invest in, any courses, or any skills you'd recommend people to sort of study now?
I would read a lot, and then I would get in touch with the right mentors. And it depends on what you're trying to do, like what type of business you're trying to do. But I would read, and then I would get in touch with mentors and ask them to share their experience.
Hi, you just mentioned in your talk about gaining backlinks from authoritative pages like Creative Commons, like sponsorship pages, but depending on what product you're doing, how do you identify what sites you should be going for to get these backlinks to your product?
Yeah, so for the charity sponsorship sites, they don't actually need to be relevant to your industry. Because it's quite natural for unrelated companies to sponsor a charity, and because these charities have such high authority, because they're getting sponsored by some of the biggest companies in the world, and they're very well-known brands. It's just they don't have much money. It doesn't matter. You'll still get a lot of benefit even if they're not related to your industry. And you can acquire links that are relevant to your company or to your industry through other channels of links which are not the charity sponsorships.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Let's go for one more question over there.
Can I ask a question? So when do you define the step is failed so you can start a next one? Like you consider it's failed and you plan to get another one. Like is any? criteria for that?
I guess that's really hard to answer, but it comes down to asking, is what I'm doing right now the most effective thing I could be doing? And I guess, it really depends on what you're doing. And, reading a lot on what you're doing and researching a lot helps you kind of decide that. But I think it depends, a lot on what you're actually doing. I don't think you can kind of have like a general framework to say, okay, well, if business meets like A, B, and C criteria, then it's failed.
Yep. At the moment for you, what's the most important business task that you're tackling?
Most important business task. Trying to find a way to monetize effectively. Yeah, because we have a lot of users and they are monetizing, but we want to monetize them better.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Last one over there, mate. Last one.
I'm just wondering, do your parents still give you career advice?
Yeah, they do actually. So my mom actually still wants me to go back to law school. Like I never finished. So it's still it's still the same. Yeah, the same. Still wants me to be John Howard. Doesn't stop.
Cool. Thanks, Rob. Appreciate it, mate.